kicking through Philadelphia and heading over to Jersey now. Let's go to our first radar site, and we're going to use some Doppler for you here. This is the radar site here in east central New Jersey, and it scans out to the west. It picks up that line of intense storms. We have about 4 counties under severe thunderstorm warnings in the Philly metro area. The storms have actually already crossed into north central New Jersey. There's the city, so more rain getting ready to push on into town. And you notice that line stretches all the way down into extreme northern Delaware. Again, the big problem here, or the big threat, damaging wind gusts. A closer view shows you the intent as the line kicks to the east. Some of the cells actually moving northeast at over 60 miles an hour.
What's in the back? It's Kix, can't you tell? Is it good? Yeah, very good. Has it got any marshmallows? Nah. Sugar frosting? Nope. Well, what's in it? I'm hungry.
What Kix has is a corn crunch that kids like. Kix is low in sugar. That's what moms like.
This is good. Yeah, but they're very hard to open. Yeah.
Kix, kid tested, mother approved. And now get an Oral-B Kids toothbrush, 1 free with 2 proofs of purchase from Kix.
When Bill's back pain acts up, life stops. So I talked to our doctor. He recommended the formula in new Aspergel. Just rub it in and the muscle pain is gone.
Without pain, life is great. New Aspergel does not contain aspirin.
A short refresher course for your skin. Start with the cleanser that feels this refreshing. Noxzema. When you feel the deep, clean tingle, you know you'll notice a healthy difference. Feel the healthy tingle of Noxzema.
Well, as we check out that winter weather update, I'll tell you, we had some spring-like weather yesterday, and we're having it today in the form of strong, intense thunderstorms. Check out what's been going on since Thursday morning. A number of tornadoes have been reported where we have the red triangles, and yesterday we were talking about a lot of wind damage, some big trees down on houses and power lines down, that kind of thing, as the storms ripped through the Atlanta metro area on into Pickens County in South Carolina, and you got it, into North Carolina as well. Well, today, this is what's happening. Here's our front. It has already cleared through Atlanta, looking much better in Birmingham and Nashville. However, we're still watching some showers and thunder showers throughout the southeast, especially bearing down on Florida right now. We also have some very, very warm temperatures out ahead of that front. The moisture, the warmth heading up to the north and just to the east of that frontal boundary. And back behind the front, we have some much cooler air, and so that clash in the 2 air masses is producing some problems. That front is really ripping through the northeast, and we've had some reports of winds gusting up to 50, maybe even 60 miles per hour. So we've got a very blustery, windy day, and some of this wind could cause some significant damage across the northeast in the next few hours. So batten down the hatches, folks, and it's probably a good idea not to be out and about running errands at this point. Severe thunderstorms are possible where we have the deepest red shading. As a matter of fact, we have a severe thunderstorm watch in effect until 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that does include portions of New York State, Vermont, New Hampshire. Okay, now let's look at some radars, and as we put it into motion, you'll see that for the most part, we have some showers and thunder showers out ahead of that front. Let's go to that radar for you and show you what we're talking about. There we go. Showers and thunder showers here showing up in Florida and South Georgia, and obviously here across the northeast we have some thunderstorms, and I'll tell you, they are moving fairly rapidly, and they do contain damaging winds and some really heavy downpours with the rain. So bearing down on Burlington, Vermont right now, moving through Albany, New York. Severe thunderstorm watch in effect for you. In addition to that, some severe thunderstorm warnings have been issued for this particular area. We also have some nasty storms hitting the pavement here in Philly and Baltimore, and extending on down towards D.C., some heavier downpours, not to mention Richmond, Virginia. So it looks like New York City could see some nasty weather in the next couple of hours, and if not nasty, you will probably at the very least be talking about some high winds and some heavier downpours with the rain. All right, let's check out what's happening across the southeast. Like I said, Atlanta is looking much better. And, well, before that radar disappeared, we were looking at the scatter.
In east of Philly, if you live in southern Somerset County in Jersey or in Mercer County, you're under a severe thunderstorm warning, and the main threat with this particular line is the potential for some damaging winds. Winds could gust to perhaps 55, 60 miles an hour within that line moving into central Jersey. All right, let's go down and check out what's happening here. Some gusty winds across the Carolinas. In Florida, a quick look at a radar shows you still pretty active across the northern part. As we go through the rest of the afternoon, smooth sailing for folks in Arkansas, clear skies, lots of sunshine, and then we have our front making its way across northern Florida. But just like we talked about yesterday, it's not making any big push to get down to Lake Okeechobee. You probably won't get there until Sunday late in the day. So it's going to take a long time crossing Florida from north to south. Speak of the culprit, there it is, right near Tallahassee. It continues to slide off towards north central Florida. Out ahead of it, showers, thunderstorms. At times, the storms have been quite intense with gusty winds and some very heavy rain. Looks like the line, at least if we want to strictly go by radar interpretation here, which we'll do this time, looks like the line is collapsing a bit. The intensity of the storms are diminishing. A lot of what we call the upper level support or energy for these thunderstorms is hightailing it up across the northeast, so the front is pretty much left on its own to lift the air as it moves south, and the front generally weakening as it pushes south. But here comes the rain into Ocala, Orlando. You won't see the rain until at the earliest later this afternoon, unless a renegade, a stray, a thunderstorm pops up well ahead of the line. You're just in the warm southwesterly flow today, and temperatures well into the 80s. We have showers, generally speaking, along the Carolina coastal plain. They'll continue to edge off the coast as we go through the very latter part of the afternoon and into the evening. And if you live in Raleigh or Durham, there was a line of storms approaching at least the Durham vicinity, but those storms have really diminished in intensity, and there's just a few sprinkles left over. The actual front goes from the Shenandoah Valley into northern New York State, where we find our area of low pressure. And there's our severe thunderstorm watch in effect until 3 p.m. We've had several severe thunderstorm warnings issued, including Addison County, Albany County. A severe thunderstorm warning was issued earlier. And then for several counties right in the Philly area in southeastern Pennsylvania, scattered strong to severe storms. And there go those storms heading through west central and now into central Vermont. As we go from Albany south to Jersey, you can see the storms form here, especially in eastern Pennsylvania, and then intensify very quickly. Now folks in southern Somerset and Mercer counties are dealing with the thunderstorms. And again, we want to highlight that the main threat here is some damaging wind potential with these storms from Jersey, and even heading farther south into northern sections of Delaware, across the central Chesapeake Bay. More thunderstorms are popping in the afternoon heat, and you can see, well, about 2 hours ago, the area here where we had some sunshine, and then the front kicks in and starts to generate some of these thunderstorms, and we'll be dealing with these for the rest of the day. But meanwhile, record heat in New England. We'll talk more about some of those records coming up this time.
The Ohio Valley into the Great Lakes. That's behind the front, 20s and 30s. Out ahead of it, oh my goodness, it's warm. 68 in New York City, 63 in Boston. No wonder we have that sharp temperature contrast and those strong thunderstorms popping. Let's see what's going to happen in your forecast as we check out Sunday morning. Well, that front is totally out of the picture. You can bet we're going to bring in some cooler temperatures behind it. There we have our clipper moving right on across Cleveland and Buffalo and Pittsburgh, so it may be a little bit tricky for you on the Parkway North tomorrow. The front sagging all the way down towards Lake Okeechobee, and look at that. There's our new area of low pressure that will develop across the southwest, and conditions are going to be deteriorating for you guys in New Mexico and Arizona and Colorado very, very shortly. Not a whole lot of snow in the forecast for the next 24-hour period, but I'll tell you, it's going to be a transition period as we're getting rid of one front and sweeping in some cooler temperatures, and we're going to watch the next low developing here in the southwest, and that will mean snow, obviously.
This forecast, and stay tuned. The national outlook is just ahead in our 5-day planner. Weather Channel. No place on Earth has better weather. Forecasts from the Weather Channel are also available from the following.
Our view from southern Canada through western New England all the way down to the north reaches of Chesapeake Bay. We've had some fairly intense storms, fast-moving storms we might add, moving through central New Jersey, which we'll show you in a moment. First, though, we're going to start north, and you can watch these storms as they come out of New York and head into central Vermont. Addison County, Vermont had a severe thunderstorm warning issued as the storms were moving into the county. I haven't received additional information as to whether there was any wind damage with the storms in the county. Farther south from Albany down to the city and then over to Philly, you can watch in motion here as we go back about an hour and a half. Some of these areas of thunderstorms developing and then moving very quickly, bearing down towards New York City at this time. And you can see that line stretches all the way down into southwestern Virginia at this hour. Around southern Somerset, Mercer counties, and also looking at some of the Doppler radars within the past 5 minutes, it looks like those storms are now kicking through west central Middlesex County in New Jersey. To the south, storms are racing east of Baltimore now. They really didn't do much as they kicked through initially. They intensified more so east of the city. But don't forget, we still have that strong cold front pushing through the mid-Atlantic, and that in and of itself could produce the Carolinas, at least on the coastal communities. We've had a few showers today, nothing very heavy, and even that line of storms that formed out near the foothills, as you get up towards the foothills there, that line of storms have pretty much dissipated. Just the tail end of it skirting north of Durham with some lighter precipitation. Our front is moving through central New York and central Pennsylvania. Ahead of the front, we do have a severe thunderstorm watch in effect for parts of New York, Massachusetts, Vermont, and southern New Hampshire. That's the big view, and we can break it down for you a little bit here to show you exactly what's happening as we go into northern New York and Vermont and western Massachusetts. Fast-moving showers and storms, storms at times moving close to 50 miles an hour, but it's the actual front that's produced some strong winds. For instance, here in St. Lawrence County in the town of Richville, a gust to 80 miles an hour. How about that with the front? Same front cruising through central Pennsylvania. Storms intensified right or just west of Philly, actually, and then pushed through town. We probably had some fairly gusty winds with that. Now those storms are targeting the city. They're cutting through Middlesex, Union counties. You could see a gust, possibly could see a gust of 60 miles an hour within that line of storms. And then as we go farther south, more active weather. Our front is moving through north central Maryland, so it's still going to be breezy behind that front for a good distance. It's going to stay breezy through most of the afternoon around Baltimore and Washington. We'll check the rest of the forecast for you.